All right. So I'm looking. I'm thinking it's not quite there. Oh yeah, it is. It says it's going like 10. Whoa, whoa. Okay. Hey, are we going? Yes. Welcome to yet another amazing episode of Redstone Lapis Lazuli. It is I, your host, pogokero. And yeah, it's happening again. Like, you know what? I found out I've been doing this for like a little bit over 3 years. Holy crap. Holy crap. 3 years of the same show every Sunday morning. Like, I could almost apply for like a church or something. the church of the church of Pogokero, the church of Minecraft. Yeah. So I'm making sure that everything is going great. I think it is. Uh, but yeah, stream health. That's what I want to find. There we go. Okay. So here I have before me. I made a little tiny map. Like I finished it, right? Because I'm like, what else am I doing here? Like I can't do anything. So I made a map. So here's my base. Here's the off to the Guardian farm, and then this is up to the gold farm. And I noticed it makes the letter I. And I'm like, hey, I just saw that. I mean, it's been there forever, but I just saw it, and it's hilarious. It's so funny. So, um, yeah. And then over here in this corner is my little island that I destroyed to make this island. So, okay. But don't worry, little island. When the next patch drops in the summer, I'm gonna regenerate you, and you're gonna be brand new again. And then over here, I made another map. It's a way bigger map. It's way zoomed out. That green spot is like where I am. That black spot is the gold farm. This little island over here is where the Guardian farm is. And then down here is that Isle of Clay. But then I found out just across the channel is a whole other group of islands, or a huge landmass. So I'm gonna have to go check that out. But yeah, I'm learning how to use maps a lot better than I was before. Uh, so that's cool, right? That's one good thing. All right, another good thing I've been working on. Let's see, what else have I been working on? Oh yeah, check this out. I took out the flag because it was in the way. Oh wait a minute, where's my beacon? Where's my beacon? There it is. That's weird. It like took forever to. Anyways, okay. So yes, I have made a clear path down there, and you can see it's not that far down. It's really not. Look at Y level are we on? Y level 64. Y level 64 is about sea level. Y level 63 is probably sea level. And the bottom of the world, that means the bottom of the world is only 64 meters down, because each square is about a meter. Each cube is about a meter. So this whole world is like the a metric dream. Everything's 1 meter. Like, so the bottom of the world is only 64 meters down. That's like nothing. Like, if you think of a meter as close to as being a yard, it's not even a football field down to the bottom of the world. So that's not good, right? I'm glad that they're gonna make this update so that it feels like the underground is actually underground, like deep, because it doesn't feel deep at all right now. I mean, I can go to this thing and look straight up into it. Like, there's my base. That's not far at all. It's like right there. So, all right. The other thing I did was I expanded my storage system because I'm full up on stone. I'm full, and I'm about full up on cobblestone, and then I'm terrible on everything else. Well, not terrible, but not like nowhere near the same amount. So yeah, I expanded it for the future when I do big mining projects because that's what's going to happen. I also moved this thing out of the way because it was in such a bad spot. Like it was bothering me every time I went to it. It was so bad, in such a bad spot. So I moved it to back here, and I cleaned it up. I cleaned up the whole system. So now I can just use a chest here, and instead of it having being like jammed up inside of that, and instead of this going up out here, most of it is underground, so it's just clean. I also changed the system so that the minecart will rest on two hoppers. That way, it unloads at a double rate, uh, and will return back to the its station. Station. So yeah, so I improved it. I just improved everything. Improvements abound. Um, yeah, that's about it. That's all I've really done on Minecraft. I haven't really played a whole bunch. Uh, I don't know why. I just haven't really been doing it. Well, because I don't, don't, I don't really want to explore too much. I don't want to. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if I explore because it's all going to get regenerated. Like I can't build outside of this square or over there. Um, Even this one I have to watch out on because I'm gonna, just save that one, and then everything around is gonna get regenerated, including the train lines. So I have to remake those, but that's okay. And then I want to expand, right? Like if I make a new base, look at this whole like huge continent, like island. Like it's not a continent, but it's a fairly large island. I can go colonize that. Colonize. There's not no one lives there, so it's okay. It's not like it's not like there's people already there. No, no one lives there. That's what makes Minecraft so great, is that you can pretend that it's the world, but there's no history. So you're not stepping on anyone's toes. You don't have to kill anyone and take their stuff. It's all just there. So it's like the Western ideal. Like what the Westerners want to be like, yeah, I came forth and conquered this land. I went out into this nature and discovered this new world. No, you didn't, dude. There were already people there, and you killed them and took their land. It wasn't brand new. It was new to you. so, 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 So Minecraft though is the pure version of it because there's literally no one else around. You can explore brand new virgin territory. It's literally virgin. There's literally no one ever there. There's no history. And that's what makes it so nice. It's because there's no history. You can fulfill all the Western dreams and tropes without the baggage of history. Of, oh yeah, I'm doing this on the bones of another civilization. Ah, and here's another thing. Like, remember when I was telling y'all about the story of Plato and the allegory of the cave? So here I am in a guy in a cave playing a story, a video game about a guy in a cave telling you a story about a guy in a cave. That's so funny. Ooh, hey. Ooh. Okay, okay. Stay. I gotta. Okay, so I went ahead and I did a preview trim of what it's gonna look like after I trim the chunks. And what I found out was like past here is gonna get trimmed off. So and that's where all the slimes are spawning. So hopefully that will get cut off. Let's see. Yeah, past here is gonna get cut off, and that's the slime chunk. That might be a slime chunk too, but there's already a guardian there. So yeah, that's gonna get cut off. All that's gonna get cut off. I hope. My island isn't that big. And also, you notice that I've got the regeneration because I AFK'd outside one night, and phantoms killed me. Eventually, right? They'll eventually kill me. I'm wearing all this armor, but if I just stand there, they'll eventually kill me, and they did. And so that was not fun. I came out. I came back in time to get my stuff, but still, the fact that I could have lost all my stuff because I AFK'd and phantoms killed me at my own base, that was not good. So I put on the regeneration buff. So even if I AFK and phantoms attack me, I won't die. All right. Let's talk about stuff, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about stuff. So, the I, you and me and myself, me and I and me and myself and I. I thought that was something very interesting when I saw that. I'm like, you know what? This is a sign. It was there all along, and I just never noticed it. So, let's begin. Because when I hit it, I hit L shift over the quote and then dollar. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Da 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 da. Thank you, senor. Senor. No, it didn't work. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Okay. Like this. There we go. That's going to do it the way it's going to be done. Okay. So I can go like this. Sorry, guys. I like every time, huh? Right? Every time. Every time it does it like this. It does me like this. And then it does me like this. And I'm like, damn it, I can't get it in the center. There we go. All right. No, it's not going to be all right. Okay, anyways. We're going to, Mr. Zach Lamb, thank you, sir, did a thing on Mead's theory of self and Cooley's looking glass self. Oh, wait, here. Mead's theory of self and Cooley's looking glass self. Right? Because the I, where did that come from? Like, you think you just have it, right? It's just natural. Of course you have it. It's been there from the beginning. You never remember a time when there wasn't an I, right? You just can't think of it. There was never a time when I wasn't there. But there are hints in poetry from antiquity where the poets are talking about something, and I don't know. I have to go do more research on this, but I've heard rumors that the concept of I, the self, wasn't really solidly formed. It wasn't really like a concrete thing, like a clear division that we have nowadays. I mean, nowadays, of course, I mean, we're born with the I, right? Yeah, but that's something that was kind of given to you, imprinted upon you by society. That's the thing. You might, here in the United States, you might feel free, but the degree of your freedom is actually really, really limited by the society in which you live. You don't have as much freedom as you think you do, because the things that you feel you freely chose were actually suggested very strongly by your society, so that it felt like you're freely choosing it, but really all around you, society is giving you hints about the correct way of choosing. And if you deviate off that correct way of choosing, then society will let you know, and it's uncomfortable. So let's talk about this. Where does this self come from? Where does this the I thing? Where does this thing come from? So how might social interaction give rise to the self? Well, social experience, being in the world, allows us to have interactions and exert our forming personalities and see how the self that we put out there on display for others is being reacted to. How are they reacting to my show? I'm looking. How are they reacting to my show? And so in this way, our self is mirrored in the reactions of the other. And we call that the looking glass self. So if you're talking to a group of people and you state something and then everyone laughs, and someone might even call you stupid, you might begin to see yourself as stupid. You adopt the looking glass, the mirror image of yourself that is being put back to you by others, right? So remember when I was telling you about Hegel and the whole subject-object thing, right? And like I'm like, in the beginning, there was only God, but like, or absolute reason, absolute subjectivity. But like, what the F is that? If there's nothing else except absolute whatever, then the absolute whatever is like nothing, because there's nothing, like there's literally no other frame of reference, literally nothing else, literally. So if you don't have something to off of which to reflect, then you don't know what the hell's going on. So absolute reason divided itself. It had to alienate itself. It had to forget itself. It had to forget that it was itself, and alienate a part of itself and look at itself and go like, what the hell is that? It's not me. so like, but it is. God just forgot. That's the joke. That's But that's the whole point. God had to forget, so God could look at God's self as an object instead of as itself, because you can't look at yourself. You can't see yourself. You have to look at yourself as a reflection. So the same thing works with humans, right? I can't look at myself. I can't, if I lived in a cabin in the woods and never ever interacted with any humans, I would be like malformed. I would be and humans found me eventually and tried to bring me back into society. I would be an alien. It would not work. I'd have zero socialization. So I couldn't fit in. There'd be no way to fit into society, right? You see? So in order for me to understand what behaviors are acceptable and what behaviors are unacceptable, I need to see a reaction from something. Like if I'm in a cabin in the woods and I pee on the floor, no one's gonna tell me, "Ew, that's gross." So I'm gonna keep doing it. Why not, right? But if you're in a society and you pee on the floor, people are gonna see it and go like, "Oh, that's gross." I'm gonna see how they react. I'm gonna go, "Oh, peeing on the floor is gross. I did that. Oh, I'm gross. Oh." You see how that works? So who you believe you are, is the reflection you get off of society. And implications. So before I just hold on to that part, because we can start thinking about, well, what happens if society reflects a negative image on you all the time, i.e. racism. Okay, but don't. That's whoa. Slow down. Slow down. Right. The like you see the big picture, but you still got to build it block by block. You know, like it's even if you see the big picture, you still got to build the blocks. Each block. You can't make the whole thing till you build each block. So so humans cannot be human without being in a group, without being in society. If you don't go in society, then you don't have a lot of that information that society will impart upon you through the reflection, through the looking glass self, through the reaction of other humans to your behaviors. Okay. Okay, this continues it. Or vice versa. If someone says something if someone says something intelligent, and so one by one, just in isolation, an interaction like that won't make you think you're stupid or won't make you think you're intelligent. But if these patterns get repeated again and again and again throughout your lifetime, you develop an image of yourself that is given to you from without, from outside of you, from interaction with others. And this is what we call the looking glass self by Charles Horton Cooley. All right. You find out who you are by the way people uh, react to you. So you can see how it's just like that's just the very, very, very basics before we layer anything on top of it, all right? The very, very basic. Given that a self-image is developed in recognizing how others are perceiving us, we're constantly trying to put ourselves in the shoes of another and think about how they are seeing this event or situation or this action transpiring. So Mead called this imitation. We're constantly, with imitation, trying to see the world from another point of view. Children do this first by imagining the position of mom and dad, and then gradually learn to take the view of several others, many others at the same time, until finally, when they're fully socialized, you can take the viewpoint of society in general. So, and this happens when you've internalized the widespread cultural norms, mores, and expectations of behavior appropriate in that society. And so then you're thinking about your behavior. You're thinking about the generalized other, how this generalized other then sees myself and my behavior. And then we take this final role, and then Mead calls this the generalized other, So the first part was Cooley talking about the looking glass self. We find out who we are by the reactions of other people. And then Mead takes that a step further. He says, after I've observed the way people react to my behaviors, and I want to do another behavior, I'm going to imagine I'm someone external watching me do this behavior and then imagining what they would think about me doing this behavior. You see how it starts cycling? How it starts spinning? Woo! Wee. So the stronger, the better that you're able to imagine the reactions of others and the viewpoints of others, the better you're able to guide your own actions in order to obtain the desired outcome. The better you know other people, the better you're able to put yourself in the shoes of other people, the better you're able to control your actions so that you get the outcome you want. But you're bound, right? You're bound totally by society. It's not like you're like free to do whatever. Society has like simultaneously imprinted upon you like an operating system, like that you can't even see, boundaries that you can't even see, that you just assume are there, but aren't. They're not really there. It's just been so deeply ingrained in you that you feel that there's no way it couldn't be that way. All right. By taking the role of the other, we can become self-aware. So aware of ourselves and develop two parts of the self, self-image and self-awareness. So here's where I get to the I. In addition, we have what Mead calls the I part of the self and the me part of the self. The I part is the part of you that is out there, acting, being, spontaneous, doing things in the world. It is the subject of action. It is what you would probably commonly think of as yourself. The me is an object. It is the aggregated combined image of yourself that has been given to you from interacting with society. Residual image, yeah, okay. When society reflects an image, self-image back onto you, this external object, this conceptual object, this image of yourself is the me. So I am the subject. Me is the object, but they're the same thing. So it's an apparent duality, right? It looks like they're two different things, but it's actually one thing. What? Okay. Slime blocks. I've got so many. What am I going to do with all these slime blocks? All right, so now you got the spinning thing around, right? People believe they're free to do whatever they want in society, that they're free. But their freedom is really constrained because their idea of freedom has been conditioned by society, so that the choices, so that the freedom they think they have is actually constrained a lot by material and social forces. So you're not nearly as free as you think you are. And society impacts people from the moment they're born and starts putting these labels on people. I wrote a poem about this like a long time ago during the Bush era. It's pathetic, pathetically relevant, perceptibly irreverent. A peace sign perverted to a fuck you. Indebtedness extends only as far as we give thanks to they, our ancestors. So that what makes this all the more inelegant. I can no longer afford to be delicate to delegates who desecrate and insinuate with malevolent thoughts and try to divinate a prior thought, to propagate a dire start to get more fucking war. Great. This is my part, see? I want this poem to fucking kill you, Holmes. I want this poem to fly out of my mouth and drill through bones will not suffice. They'll still do nothing this poem won't cut. I've said it twice if I've said it once, and now the poem is coming. It's coming to kill you. Oh, you thought that you were safe, that poems weren't terrorists like the CIA. But if you check your little interwebs and look up memes on sites that got the creds, it seems your sense of self should sense the need for help. Foresee the end and cleverly concede the point to which I'll now enunciate. The whelps in Washington have washed their withering digits in well-oiled faucets and cellophane kisses Water, waterborne topics have liberated tactics. Humanity lost it. They've stomped this self-evident sense of self into italics. Mission directive from Presidential Palace. There are no topics that remain taboo when the sense of self is so permissive, given their own agents broke in an average of 12 seconds. In other words, ego is a collective, cohesive bacterial colony of memes, multicolored mold and spore dreams. And in their voice lies this collection of labels that labels itself me. But this is the poem sent to kill you. This is the poem sent to kill you. This is the poem sent to kill you. This is the poem. My friend, herbology. Let's look at this is brilliant. I talk about the ancient Greeks a lot. And I talk about the ancient Greeks a lot because I feel the ancient Greeks are the root, the very, very, very beginning of Western consciousness. I mean, there's lots of other consciousnesses and stuff, but when you call Western civilization and all that sprung from it, all the colonization, all that stuff that sprung from it, and well, the United States, right? For me, I learned from Werner Jaeger, and for him, it was very important to go back to the root. The very, very root of consciousness. In times of crisis, you always go back to the root to see what happened, to remember why you started the trip. Okay, but it's fractal. Remember, everything's fractal, and you can like apply things like it's weird. Okay, so my friend, she's awesome. She visited me in Japan. She's awesome, and her knowledge is really different from the way I know things. It's like way different, and like it's no less impressive. Like I respect her greatly. She's great. She's fantastic. And check this out. Elimination communication, or infant toilet learning. I'm so glad I learned about this before having my babies because it's been immensely helpful. We use cloth diapers as well, but this method reduces the number of diapers we have to wash by a lot. There are lots of ways to incorporate this, but basically you pay attention to your baby's cues and remove their diaper and let them pee or poop in a small potty instead of their diaper. Babies prefer not soiling themselves and quickly learn to wait. So we're communicating with our babies about their body's functions in a positive way. They do this method in Asia, and kids are potty trained much earlier, 18 months to 2 years. In the US, it's 3 years. Because elimination communication reduces instances of bedwetting, constipation, and kids are more aware of their bodily functions and not ashamed of them. All right, so to me, this is mind-blowing because I remember being a kid, and I remember all sorts of stuff regarding elimination. and I remember watching other kids with their stuff regarding elimination and all the trauma associated with it. And then I look at right? I look way down over there, and then I look way over here, and I'm like, oh look, the world that's like arguably ruled by U.S. hegemony, and we're trashing the planet. We're like we generate all this waste that we don't take care of. We just dump on the planet. Might these two things be connected? Like the collective trauma of a generation of children whose moms were either like didn't know or were too busy or whatever. Because like there's a lot of reasons like a parent might not be able to like pay attention to their kids' cues, like they're working or like they're trying to take care of their 7 other kids or whatever. Like there's lots of reasons why you may not have like that time for such great communication with your kids. That's pretty awesome. And if we were a good society, we would recognize the value in that and then promote this kind of thing. Promote it. Promote the conditions in which a parent could pay attention to their baby's cues, because all that trauma, like gets carried over into the future and encoded into society. Because those kids grow up and they carry their trauma with them. And those assumptions that they had from a little baby are put into society. And encoded. And so now we have a disposable society. And kids are traumatized because they're ignored by their parents and have to sit in shitty diapers. And then we have mountains and mountains of plastic diapers now. Mountains of plastic diapers. So as a society, we burn hydrocarbons to dig up hydrocarbons to turn those hydrocarbons into plastic diapers for babies to shit in, and then throw those hydrocarbons back into the earth. Where they live forever. ah. So, like, how disconnected from nature can you be? Jeez Louise. Yeah. Like, I don't know very much about psychology, but I think a lot about how society shapes the way humans think. And that's why I believe exposure to a diverse set of cultures and and viewpoints is essential. It's essential. Diversity is essential for survival. No joke. Like, there's a reason why evolution favors diversity, because you never know when conditions will change, and when a seemingly random mutation becomes the thing that saves the species. You never know. You never know. All right, let's talk about real quick. Greta Thunberg asked me to talk about. She didn't ask me, but she. I saw her and I'm like, yo, Greta, I like you. I like what you're doing. You got spunk. You got spirit. Spirit goes a long way. Where's it at? Myanmar, Burma. Myanmar, also known as Burma, is in Southeast Asia. Its neighbors, Thailand, Laos, Bangladesh, China, and India. It has a population of about 54 million, most of whom are Burmese speakers, although other languages are also spoken. The biggest city is Yangon, Rangoon, I don't know. But the capital is Nai Pia Twa. I don't know. I don't know how to say any of this stuff. Sorry. The main religion is Buddhism. There are many ethnic groups in the country, including Muslims. The country gained independence from Britain in 1948. It was ruled by the armed forces from 1962 into 2011, when a new government began ushering in a return to civilian rule. Here's Myanmar. So that's pretty cool, right? The closest I got was Chiang Mai, which is, I think Chiang Mai is up here. I never gotten to go there. And although I met a woman from Burma, I call it Burma. It was called Burma before the military changed the name. I don't like it. I like Burma. The Burmese. Burmese people. It's Burma. Mother effer. Burma. So in Burma, I met a Burmese woman in Japan, and I tried to be her friend, but like, it didn't really work out. She was very, very, a totally different culture, right? Totally different culture. Here I am, a Western guy from the West, and I think she was Muslim. She was a Muslim woman from Burma in Japan. Like, how did we even start talking? I don't even know. She was cute. That was my deal, right? Here I am, a horny guy, like horny, lonely guy, and here's this chaste, uh, pure, wonderful young Burmese woman, and I'm like, yeah, it's no. You're awesome. See ya. You're cool. I'm gonna go before I hurt you. Before I hurt me. Yeah, they're great, and she was really nice. She was real nice. She was super nice. She was smart, but but she saw it in a totally different way of thinking. Yeah, my idea was a little bit different at that time. I was a lonely guy at that time. I was a lonely guy. Anyways, why is Myanmar also known as Burma? The ruling military changed the name in 1989. I'm not gonna change it. I don't like Myanmar, dude. It's hard to say. Burma. Okay, what happened? The military is now back in charge and has declared a year-long state of emergency. It seized control on the 1st of February following a general election, which Ms. Suu Kyi, that party won by a landslide. Cool. Well, no, not cool. The armed forces had backed the opposition, who were demanding a rerun of the vote, claiming widespread fraud. Oh, that sounds familiar. The Election Commission said there was no evidence to support these claims, right? That sounds familiar. The coup took place as a new session of parliament was set to open. That sounds familiar. Ms. Suu Kyi has been held at an unknown location since the coup. She is facing various charges, including possessing illegal walkie-talkies. Illegal walkie-talkies? Violating COVID-19 restrictions during last year's election campaign, and publishing information that may cause fear or alarm. The truth? Yeah, see? F the military. F the military. This is exactly what Trump tried to do. Exactly the same thing that Trump tried to do. The same thing that Trump tried to do. The same thing. It's no different. Trump is a traitor. He must be put to trial for treason. And if he's found guilty, he must be executed per the law. So NLD MPs who managed to escape arrest formed a new group in hiding. Their leader has urged protesters to defend themselves against the crackdown. So what's happening is the military had their party lost the election, and the military said, well, screw it, we're just going to kill people. So I'm going to shrink me a little bit. The Assistance Association for Political Prisoners, a monitoring group which documents deaths and arrests, confirms 89 people were killed by early evening. Later on Saturday, the Myanmar Now News website reported that 114 people, including children, were killed across the country by security forces. A count issued by an independent researcher in Yangon, which has been compiling near real-time death tolls, put the total at 107, spread over more than 24 cities and towns. The Associated Press News Agency reported. Estimates for the previous highest daily death toll on March 14th ranged in counts from 74 to 90. At least 40 people, including a 13-year-old girl, were killed in Mandalay, and at least 27 people were killed in Yangon, Myanmar Now said. A boy as young as 5 was early reported amongst the dead. Another 13-year-old was among the dead in central Sagyang region. So, like, basically, the military is going around murdering people. They're just like taking over the country. They're killing their own people. That's what Trump wanted to happen to the United States. He tried. He tried in the summer when he tried to send the military into the cities, and the military refused. He tried when he got the he tried to do it in DC when he got the military to like kick out everyone, and he held the Bible upside down in front of that church. And then he tried to he tried so many different ways to overthrow the election. I can't believe how many different ways he tried to I can't believe he's not in prison right now for all the different ways Donald Trump tried to overthrow the election, the country. And the fact that he's not in prison tells me that that there's still a real big danger of the country being overthrown. So, what else do I got? Okay, Myanmar tax evasion. Sure, tax evasion. The richest 1% dodges taxes on more than 1/5 of their income, study shows. Remember how I was telling you about how all the where all the money goes? It's like, man, where's all the money at? We're over here, right? We're over here. And if you're not taxing the rich, if you're not enforcing the tax code on the rich, then what happens is all that money, capitalism tends to concentrate wealth and power. That's just the way things work. Right? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Everyone knows this to be true. Everyone knows this to be true. So where does that money go? It goes up. It goes up into their stocks, into their investments, into their overseas investments, into their portfolios, their bonds, wherever, right? Outside of the economy. It leaves the economy and they hold on to it as power. Everyone knows this. So and now we know that they're dodging taxes too. Look at this. The richer you are, the more you dodge taxes. Unreported income as a percentage of total income by income percentile. So yeah, you got the poor people. Maybe they're dodging taxes a little bit. Maybe they're not reporting their tips. Oh, tips shouldn't be taxed anyways. Tips are tips, dude. They're tips. They're not guaranteed. You don't get that guaranteed. They're tips. They're gratuity. If you tax tips, they're no longer tips. You're forcing the customer to subsidize the wage of the employee if you tax tips. That's the truth. That's the truth. If you tax tips, you are forcing the customer to subsidize the business owner for the wages of the customer or of the employee. You should not tax tips. And so, yeah, dude, I don't mind that the lower income groups don't report their tips. Okay. Justice. God, so stupid. Why would you tip or tax the tips? Like, why would you do that? That's like, oh, it's so dumb. Okay. Yeah, why does it go down right in the middle? That's weird. And it goes back up. And then the richer you are, the more you're likely you are to cheat on your taxes and not pay them. And then the other part of it, right? Enforcement. Remember this one? The IRS has been going down because it's been being defunded. It doesn't have enough money anymore, so it's not doing as many audits. So that means it receives less money because more tax cheats are getting away. And who has all the money? The rich. So the rich are getting away with not paying taxes. Remember that? Fraction of the tax returns of the top 0.1% audited. The very richest of the rich plummeted. It started to be like checked out under Obama, and then right when Trump got into office, it dropped. They killed the IRS. Trump and the Republicans killed the IRS because Trump Republicans hate taxes because they hate society. Oh boy. So we know that there's hiring more tax agents would help, but the solution to this avoidance at the top end is write better tax laws. Why can't we write better tax laws? Because we have two opposite parties in government right now. One party um, wants to like simplify the tax laws and make the tax laws more progressive and put a wealth tax. The other party wants to destroy the government. You can't compromise. There's no compromise between the two parties. You cannot compromise. There's zero compromise. One party is a fascist party, and the other party is a democratic party. You can't have compromise between a fascist party and a democratic party. There's no compromise there. You have to understand, refusing to abolish the filibuster is essentially a vote for Mitch McConnell to decide America's future. Because that's what it is. A filibuster is giving power to a minority. And Joe Manchin is all about giving power to the minority. I don't know why. Well, yeah, I do know why. White supremacy. White supremacy. White supremacy. Fuck your justice system, white supremacy. So, the filibuster is a tool of white supremacy. That's the only reason why it exists. There is no other reason for the filibuster except white supremacy. Did I even write that? Did I save that thread? No, I didn't. But I had a huge thread about how the filibuster was used only for white supremacy. So they're like, yeah. I'm gonna move me. No. Yeah, baby, said nobody, since this was not good. No, the filibuster is super, super bad. Filibuster is bad. We want to get rid of the filibuster. Because if you don't get rid of the filibuster, Republicans take power. Already in Georgia and in all these other states, they're re-implementing Jim Crow laws, voting laws, already. So you know how we won all these Democratic victories in 2000? That won't happen again in 2022 because Republicans are getting rid of democracy. They're like, oh, we don't like that we lost the vote, so we're going to make it so you can't vote. The only way to stop that is to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, Senate Bill 1. And the only way you're going to pass that is by getting rid of the filibuster. If you don't get rid of the filibuster, then Jim Crow comes back and Democrats lose power and the Nazis take control again of the United States. I mean, you have to understand, they're Nazis. They're straight up Nazis. Like, you can try to say that, oh, you're being hyperbolic. No, dude, they're Nazis. Look at this. Where do you think all the guns come from? They come from the United States. Look at this. I found this. This is great. From 1950, let me get me out of the way. All those firearms, all those are weapons. The United States exports war to the world. So who like, I believe this is a function of white supremacy. I believe this export of arms is a function of white supremacy and the logical extension of colonialism. So if you want to defeat white supremacy, you want to defeat Nazis, then you defeat the arms trade. Who's opposed to defeating the arms trade, to any kind of arms control? The Republicans. Republicans are Nazis. Nazis are opposed to arms control. But it's not just the Nazis, right? Like, look, I'm still going, right? We're only in 1980s. We're in the 80s now. Holy crap. That's a lot of weapons, right? And we're still going. We're still going. How can anyone call the United States a Christian nation after watching this? This is dumb. Oh, we're in the 90s. Man, that's a lot of weapons. Holy shamoly. I can't get over how many weapons are going out there. And for all those weapons going out, you have to imagine all the money coming in. That's the part that's not shown, that for all those weapons going out, there's a flow of money coming back. So it's about the money. Wow, it's still going, dude. Oh, we're in the 2010s now. All right. Look at all those weapons going to Saudi Arabia. What happened in Saudi Arabia? Oh, that's right, the war in Yemen. They're gearing up for the war in Yemen. That's what's going on. Oh, that's right. So we got issues, right? We got issues. But it's not like it's all Republicans. Democrats can be dumb too. The U.S. Cold War era weapon, $100 billion to build a new nuclear missile. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? That's the stupidest idea ever. When Donald Trump started down this path, I thought, all right, he's dumb. He's Donald Trump. I understand. But Biden? Why would you do this, Biden? This is dumb. This is stupid. We don't need new nukes. We definitely don't need new nukes. That's like the worst thing ever. Come on. We're already going to have to deal with the end of the world regarding climate change. Why would take that 100 billion and put it toward like climate change if you really want to stop the end of the world, right? Instead of adding to it. The report, due to be published next week, will argue the planned ground-based strategic deterrent is being driven by intense industry lobbying and politicians from states that would benefit most from it economically, rather than a clear assessment of the purpose of the new intercontinental ballistic missile. Like, why do you need the intercontinental ballistic missile? Right? Why do we need it? Why? There are currently 400 Minutemen missiles spread over 5 states: Colorado, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Wyoming. So 4 of the 5 are Republican-held states. Many arms control advocates argue that rather than being replaced, they should be phased out entirely on grounds of their vulnerability and consequent instability. Yes, I agree. ICBM skeptics, who include former secretaries of defense and military commanders, say U.S. should rely instead on its nuclear bombers and submarine-launched missiles, like the other 2 legs of the U.S. nuclear triad, which could be used in a retaliatory strike if a nuclear attack is confirmed. Right? So the nuclear triad is of deterrence is what the United States relies on to make sure that USSR doesn't launch nukes at us. Because if USSR shoots nukes at us, it can only hit the United States and hit the ICBM base and the bases of the United States. Right. If the bombers are in the air, it can't hit the bombers, the nuclear bombers. And the subs are anywhere. No one knows where the subs are, right? And the subs can launch missiles from anywhere in the world. So even if you attack the United States will still hit you back and destroy you. It doesn't matter. If you attack us, we're still going to destroy you. Now this is arguing we don't need those land-based missiles anymore. Because those land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles are based on like ancient technology, like 30, 40-year-old technology, Like, they made those missiles in the 80s or something. Like, those are ancient missiles, man. Those are not very safe anymore. Like, do they even work? And if you're questioning about how U.S. missiles are going, wonder about those old Soviet missiles. Ah! So the thing is, we still have good missiles. We still have the nuke, the submarine-based missiles, which totally work, right? They're based on newer technology, and you can't blow them up, right? You can't find the subs. Yeah, they're getting better and better at looking for them, but still, like, there's a lot of subs, and you can't get them all. And number two, what about the planes? You can't stop the planes, right? Like, you can't stop them. You can't stop them. You're going to get bombed. If you attack us, you're going to get bombed. So we don't need brand new nukes. We don't need it. We don't need more ways to blow up the planet. We're done. Like, we've got plenty. We have plenty. We don't need more. That's what I mean, right? What if all this stems from the fact that as a society, like, we did some trauma to our kids that wrecked them for the future? I don't know, some kind of forced, I don't know, something as little babies that messed up kids for generations. Something like, I don't know, forced genital mutilation? I don't know. Some kind of early trauma that would cause problems down the line. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. All right. Who would have thought the people who let kids die in custody would be at it again? Lessons not learned. So the Biden administration has tried for weeks to keep the public from seeing images like this that have now emerged showing immigrant children in U.S. custody at the border sleeping on mats under foil blankets, separated in groups by plastic partitions. So great, now they don't have chain link fences, they replaced it with plastic. But this is more the Border Patrol. Border Patrol is kind of a rogue agency in the United States. It doesn't necessarily listen to orders from the federal government. It's its own entity. So that's going to be under the purview of Attorney General Merrick Garland. But he's going to have his hands busy, as it is. So I don't know what's going to happen. But immigration's still a deal. We still got to deal with it. And I don't have it up here. But what we need is a Marshall Plan. I remember doing a story about this. We need a Marshall Plan for those countries where all these refugees are coming from. Because they're refugees. They're refugees. They're fleeing violence from a collapsing country. If you want them to stop fleeing for their lives, stabilize their country so they don't have to flee. That's a Marshall Plan. We're a rich country. We can afford it. Jeez Louise. And they're our neighbors. The United States needs to help its neighbors. Come on. Vaccines included, right? It's a pandemic. It's not just here. It's everywhere. So that means you have to make the vaccine cheap and generic. Dude, oh man, I'm talking all this random stuff. Anyways, okay, I'm going off. I need something happy to end on. Please, something happy. I don't know. Okay, here. This makes me happy. I don't know if it's happy, but it's a funny observation. And it's probably not an observation. It's not anything groundbreaking. But I was listening to a podcast of young women talking. And this young woman was talking about her experience growing up with large breasts and how they changed everything. And how breasts, like, didn't just change the way that men treated her. Breasts also changed the way that women treated her. That she got treated better when she showed off her breasts by both men and women. And she's like, yeah, and that, This is like an everyday like thing for women. This is like, encoded into their lives, like into the world, that their breasts. And these women were talking about the power of breasts, and I was reflecting upon my experiences, and I thought, yeah, I can attest to the power of breasts. I swear to goodness, no matter how aware and how conscious and how controlled I want to be, I recognize in myself I lose about 15 IQ points when around big boobies. No matter what. I don't know what it is, but I get dumb around big boobs. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I literally get dumb, and I can see myself getting dumb. That's the thing. I can see it happening, and I'm powerless to stop it. I just get dumb around big boobs. It's just stupid, and it makes me happy to know I'm not the only one. That I'm not alone. That boobs also affect other people in the same way. I love boobs. I love boobs. I love women. I love the female form. I love it. I love beauty. Dude, oh my God. Like, maybe it's the COVID isolation talking. I don't know, but man, I really love women. I love boobies. I mean, I love all sorts of boobies, not just like the big ones. I love all sorts of boobies, right? I just love boobies, all sorts, big, little. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like symmetrical, not symmetrical. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Boobies are great. But I get dumb around boobies. And it was nice to know that I'm not the only one. That women are also aware that women also change their behavior around boobs. That it's not just men; it's also women who change their behavior around boobs. So that's cool. Anyways, if we can find a way to harness the power of boobs for good, that would be awesome. I think people do. I just don't. Maybe it's a subtle thing, or maybe it's so obvious, it's so like blatantly out there that I'm blind to it now. I don't know, but I like boobs a lot. So, all right, end on that note. Okay, America, hang in there. Until next time.